Ssae 16 checklist is a neat little Excel spreadsheet that will allow you to review SOC 1 and SOC 2 reports in a manner that is consistent, not only from one vendor to the next, but also consistent to what a good vendor management policy and procedure should require. The checklist is meant to review both SOC 1 and SOC 2 reports. If you do not understand the difference between a SOC 1 or a SOC 2, go to this article on our blog to review. The checklist itself is simply a list of questions that should be asked in order to comply with a sturdy vendor management policy and procedure. If the issue doesn't really apply to your situation, you can take it out of the metrics by entering a 1 here. Or if they are in good shape, you can enter a 1 here. And then for the issues where maybe there are controls missing or they don't test a control, you can do a risk ranking on that control. I would like to direct your attention to question number 13, which is the most difficult question to get through, because if you're not technical, you might need to sit down with an information security person from your organization to try to get an understanding as to what controls you should expect to be in place for the type of service that the service organization is providing. For those of you who are reviewing a very detailed vendor relationship, such as a core provider in a bank, you might want to drill down on the controls that you should expect. And so we have this drill down spreadsheet. That's the last tab of the checklist that allows you to get a little more granular. And by the way, we also have done a little bit of an example here on the math. Average risk ranking from any controls that are missing on this drill down would then be entered in to the question number 13 on the checklist. But beyond that, the questions are basically meant to make sure that you're checking all of the different areas of the SOC 2 that need to be checked, that you're having vendor owners review user control considerations, etc. And it also gives you the ability to enter in any kind of deficiencies that come out of the SOC 2 process that might not be queued up in our checklist itself, resulting in risk metrics that can be used to prioritize the vendors based on residual risk, as well as focus in on the vendors that might have a little more problems than your typical vendor. And this can then be used to prioritize the discussions that you have in your risk committee or other appropriate committee meetings where vendor risk is escalated. Now, it's important to note that the Ssae 16 is just one document in a whole set of documents that we call our vendor management program. The Ssae 16 review is just one checklist. We have checklists for high-risk vendors, checklists for critical vendors that are outside the realm of the Ssae 16. And that checklist is really meant to conform to the vendor management policy, and exactly how to use that is spelled out in the vendor management procedure. So if you have any other questions about this Ssae 16 checklist, be sure to review our vendor blog at my.infotex.com/vendorblog. Thank you.